Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and bring them down to bite-sized pieces. Today, we're going to go over 3 stories, and I'm going to try to explain in my best way possible why time really is on your side if you are right here for the cryptocurrency and digital asset market. So first thing we're going to take a look at is the Ethiopian education minister confirms Cardano blockchain partnership. On top of that, we'll take a look at when the Bitcoin bull run could potentially end. And finally, we're going to finish up with Alex Becker. So this doesn't make any sense to you right now, but stick with me. It's all going to come together in just a little bit. So first up, I just want to talk to you about this new partnership that has been opened up with Cardano, IOHK, and Charles Hoskinson. They're going to be bringing forth digital ID to different countries in the continent of Africa. And this is just one thing that was put out to be talked about as far as what's going on with that whole partnership. And this was a big thing because Charles was pretty ticked off yesterday. If you want to check out his channel, he goes into detail why he was pretty ticked off at CoinDesk for not covering it and pretty much questioning it and calling him a liar. Hey, it is what it is. It's super entertaining if you want to watch it. But this is actually from CoinDesk, and they do get little digs in here, but I thought it was interesting where they did actually say, yeah, it's true. But I mean, how could you not? Ethiopian education minister confirms Cardano. So what is this all about, and how does it pertain to time? I'll tell you in a second. So Ethiopia's Minister of Education confirmed the government is working with IOHK, the company behind the Cardano protocol, on a blockchain-based system to track student performance in the African country's schools. And it says here, O'Connor, and when he's talking about O'Connor, he's talking about, this is John O'Connor, IOHK's Director of African Operations, and he told CoinDesk the company is only beginning to develop the code for this project and does not expect to launch anything before January 2022. So this, in its entirety, is going to be a great thing, but it's going to take a little bit of time, just like with Cardano and everything that they actually do. So down here, just to follow up, it says, this is what's going to happen. 5 million Ethiopian students will receive a Cardano blockchain-based ID that will allow the ministry to track their academic performance. Mike Curious said Thursday, and 750,000 teachers will get access to the system. And then the little dig at the end, of course, was CoinDesk says, and Cardano has jumped 9% since April 26th, the day before IOHK announced the Ethiopia project. And on a 24-hour basis, it's down 0.8% to $1.35, which I actually tweeted out yesterday. I was like, it's pretty amazing to me that the foundation, Cardano Foundation, come out and said, hey, we're going to be working with the Ethiopian government, different countries in Africa, and we're going to bring forth some really great things that can help out this entire nation to bring them into, not being underserved and unbanked, and really into the 21st century. And on top of that, they're also going to be giving them or talking about partnering up with a platform that brings mobile service and internet throughout the whole continent or parts of the country, I guess. And I just said it's amazing that that comes out. The price drops 1.4%, but Elon Musk tweets about Dogecoin and the price skyrockets. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And this is what I'm talking about as far as like time. Time is really on your side. So if you're early into Cardano, you're early into Bitcoin, you're early into all these things, this is the earliest you can possibly get. People don't even realize just how early we are. I mean, we've been around, crypto's been around for quite some time, and people think that it's just, like that. I mean, look how long it took the internet. Look how long it took something like Netflix to come around when the internet was actually born. Internet was, came around in the mid 90s, and it took us quite a little bit of time to bring forth Netflix, which is a pretty simple thing, just to stream services. Now we're looking at blockchain of how it's going to change everything. So it's going to take this much time. But the real question is, how does that affect you as far as an investor? I'm going to get to that in a second. So next up, this is Willy Woo. And he talks about when the Bitcoin bull run will end. And he says, as far as price predictions, he points to last year's Bitcoin halving as another factor that he believes will continue to push the value of Bitcoin up several fold. He predicts Bitcoin's momentum will end in December. This is kind of like how I see it. Some people think that it's going to actually, some people say that the bull run's already over. I think that's preposterous. I think it really hasn't even really hit its stride. And we're only, just this is April 30th, and we're not even May 1st. So I'm like, I think we got a little bit of time to go. And and some people will say, well, no, it's going to be in February 2022. I don't know. So to me personally, as an investment opinion, not investment advice, thanks Digital Dave for that one, I think he got a lot of time. Anyhow, to finish up, he says the last one where he talks about these bull runs, the last run was 2017. It took us from $1,000 per Bitcoin to 20,000, and it tends to peter out around the fourth quarter, around December. So ballparking December, and he thinks that Bitcoin will go from 300,000 to 400,000 range. It might even go higher. I think Willy Woo's a little crazy. I have a prediction of 150,000. That's the most conservative I can possibly get. So again, what does this have to do with everything that has to do with time and how early you are? I'll get to that in a second. I watched a video from Alex Becker. If you don't follow Alex, he's one of the guys that I recommend in my YouTube recommendations. He's a funny guy, and he's got some pretty good stuff out there, and this one he was very serious. And Alex just got into crypto not too long ago. So I don't think he wasn't around 2017. He pretty much got in last March he talks about 2020. And he's like, look, the people that made it, the people that are rich, in this video he talks about here, 6K into 20 million out. The people that are rich are the ones, or the people that made the most in crypto are the ones that already were rich in the beginning, and they made a ton of money in their business, and they put that into crypto where they had like 100,000, a couple million just to play around with, which most people don't. And he said that's how they are filthy rich as far as crypto goes, and he's right. He's right, and he talks about it in this video, and I'll watch it where he says, if you build a business of betting yourself, then it's probably the best option for you, and totally true. But there's a flip side to that, and the flip side of that is that yes, my businesses have done very well, maybe good amount of money, I'm very happy, everything's great, right? And the thing is though, is that you have to remember that some people, actually a good amount that you probably don't hear about too much, they made a lot of their money in crypto, but the way they did it was just straight investing, buying, and holding. And I talk about these 4-year cycles all the time. Can you imagine back in the day if you could have gotten into, well, okay, here's an example. This is Bitcoin, but if you got an Ethereum early 2017, that was like $5 or $10. Imagine if you put $1,000 into that, 5,000, 10,000. Even if you borrowed against something and got it, you would have been out like a bandit. You'd be very, very rich right now. Let's say that you just held, let's say in the beginning of 2012, you bought Bitcoin at $14 or something like that. Where would you be right now? And this is just people who just held and held and held. And these are the 4-year cycles I talk about. 2012, there's always a halving every 4 years for Bitcoin, and then the alts follow that. So you get an all-time high, which here was $1,100, dip, reset. Same thing happened in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and now here we are in 2020, and then off we go. So for me, I'm going to do pretty well this cycle because I have been dollar cost averaging all the way since about right here. Matter of fact, I kind of screwed up and I didn't sell any as things are going down, but I dollar cost averaged the whole thing, and this one's going to be pretty well. But here's another thing. If you're here right now and you just got in, what's stopping you from just being an investor and holding and just saying, hey, time's on my side? Because guess what's going to happen? If the other 2 bull runs hold true, I think this one will hold even truer as we go forward. I think if you can just hold on, again, this is investment opinions, not investment advice, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again, and we're going to have another bull run in 2025. So if you are dead set about making a ton of money this bull run, it's going to be very difficult. You can trade your way to success, but is it going to be life-altering money? For some it is. But, and everybody's different. My goals are not your goals, and vice versa. So when you take a look at this and you're like, okay, when Alex talks about the most people get the riches because they were already rich, that's true. But guess what? The people that built those businesses, those weren't overnight businesses. Those took time. And whatever those people were doing. And the same thing holds true for the cryptocurrency digital asset market. There are no get-rich-quick schemes, but I can tell you right now, if you can just have the mentality of saying, you know what, I want to get into a position, I want to get into a project that I believe in the team. I believe in the people. I believe in the project of what is going on. And I want to just sit around and just set it and forget it. That's where a good amount of money is made. And that's where really, if you look at some of the richest people out there, they're just investors. They just buy and hold. If you're looking at businesses or properties or stocks, or in this case, cryptocurrency digital assets. And the last thing I will say is this: where else can you do this? Where else can you make this type of gains? Because I can show you something. Let's take a look at the S&P 500, okay? Which is, the top 500 stocks, globally, or, around for these huge businesses. And of course, they change all the time because they're the top 500 businesses that are there. Now, 20% is Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, and the other one, I always forget the one. So that's the majority of it. But look at this right here. This is the last day. This is how much the S&P 500. If you just put it into it's just an index of all these top businesses, and these are the ones that pretty much are the best as far as safety goes. If you look at a day, well, 5 days, a month, 6 months. I don't care about this. Let's go for a year. So in 1 year's time, you could have gone from 2830 to 4100. Wow. Wow, what is that? Let's take a look at 5 years. You could have gone from $2,000 to $4,000. You could have doubled your money in a whopping 5 years. So in all honesty, well, let's go to the max. So how about this? In May 1st, 1981 to 1991, in 10 years, you could have gone from $132 to $300. So when I talk about, and I'll finish this up on my little rant. When I talk about all these investments that you can make the most, and that's where a lot of money is made. The S&P 500 was earth-shattering and great, and people thought they were making fantastic gains and everything else. But where else can you invest into an asset like a Bitcoin, like an Ethereum, like a Cardano? And maybe you don't get super filthy rich for this bull run, but if you just hold on for a little bit, just wait a little bit, there's one right around the corner, just like a party bus. And that's really all it really comes down to. Anyhow. So look, if you found value in that video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Tell me what you're thinking in the comment section. Also, if you like the videos, just give it just subscribe. And that is it for today. So thanks for bearing with me, and I'll see you